There's a voice inside, isn't there? That voice that never shuts up, whispering doubts, fueling anxiety, tightening the grip of fear. It's the voice that asks every leader, every founder, every investor, every visionary, are you leading with fear or fire? But before answering, let's be brutally honest. Most leaders don't even see the chains they're dragging behind them. Fear is a thief disguised as protection, stealing innovation, connection, and courage right from under their noses. It clutches at the steering wheel, gripping so tight that every decision starts to tremble. Every conversation becomes a trap. Every dream a cautious step backward. You feel it. The nagging weight of doubt pulling at your chest when you wake up every morning. The sinking feeling when you glance at your team or your portfolio, wondering if you're about to lose control. This is not just a bad day, not a rough patch. It's a slow-burning prison built from the bricks of safe choices and play-it-safe mentalities. Think about that for a second. What if all the rules you've been told to follow, the way you're supposed to build your company, manage your people, raise your capital, are actually designed to keep you small? What if the safe path you're running along is actually an illusion, a comfort zone that functions more like a cage? This isn't just theory. This is what thousands have felt before breaking through. The cold, hard realization that what they were told to believe was freedom was really just invisible chains. You're not alone in this. The world is full of leaders hiding behind masks of certainty while inside. Their hearts scream for something more real, more raw, more alive. Because here's the brutal truth. Fear leads you to postpone greatness. It makes you settle for what's enough instead of what can set the world on fire. Fear is the reason millions of brilliant ideas never see daylight. It's the reason people stand still while the edge is where the future is made. The way society is set up, fear is rewarded. It whispers, be careful, don't disrupt, play by the rules. But every rule that trims your wings is a cut in your soul. Every step made from fear is a step away from your potential, your vision, your real reason for standing where you do. And when fear drives leadership, it spreads like a sickness. Teams follow hesitation instead of clarity. Investors sense the doubt. Vision blurs. The fire that should be roaring inside burns down to a dull flicker. But fire, that's the real game changer. Fire is the raw, untamed force that fuels transformation. Fire is what makes the impossible feel inevitable. Fire rejects the comfortable lie and screams into the quiet. I will be more. It's not reckless, it's fierce. It's not careless, it's intentional. Fire doesn't wait for permission or perfect conditions. Fire doesn't ask for consensus or comfort. Fire faces the storm head-on, charges into battle with scars and bruises, proudly worn as proof of the fight. When you lead with fire, everything changes. Fear no longer controls your decisions. Your vision becomes sharp, clear, edged with urgency and passion. Your team feels it. They see you as a magnet, a force of nature that pulls out the best in them or burns away weak complacency. Imagine for a moment what it would feel like to lead from that place of fire. To wake up every morning knowing you're not just managing outcomes but creating reality. To look at your team and investors not as resources or liabilities but as allies in a mission bigger than yourself. To build something that does not seek approval but demands respect by being undeniably powerful. The problem is, fire isn't something you turn on like a switch. It's forged through relentless clarity, brutal honesty, and ruthless alignment. Fire requires you to cut away what doesn't serve your mission. The noise, the excuses, the distractions. It demands a refusal to play small or live someone else's story. Fire lives in the space where comfort dies. Here's a truth that feels like a punch in the gut. Too many leaders mistake control for leadership. They think the power lies in keeping everything predictable, safe, and comfortable. But control built on fear is just a house of cards, doomed to collapse the moment pressure hits. Real leadership, the kind that ignites legacies, is vulnerability wrapped in action. It means stepping into uncertainty, not because you're sure of the outcome, but because your fire is too bright to be put out by what-ifs. This requires more than courage. It demands a system designed to nurture that fire, to protect it from the world's cold attempts to smother it. Most leaders don't have this, which is why so many burn out, get cynical, or simply quit early. You've probably seen this before: the leader who plays it safe, who avoids hard conversations, who won't challenge the status quo. So much potential wasted just because the fear of failure or rejection was louder than the fire burning inside them. And you know what? That story doesn't have to be yours. There is a way out, a path that leads from fear to fire, from doubt to certainty, from hesitation to relentless movement. It starts with one choice: refuse to lead based on fear anymore. Refuse to let the past define what's possible. Encourage yourself and your team to lean into the unknown, to treat every challenge not as a threat, but as fuel. Create a culture that doesn't punish risk, but rewards boldness. Give yourself permission to fail fast and learn faster. This transformation isn't about throwing out all rules, but about unlearning those that bind you and holding on to only what sharpens your edge. It's about finding your people, those few rare individuals who don't just follow or accept, but elevate and ignite. Alignment becomes your secret weapon. It's what turns isolated brilliance into explosive power. When you find that synergy, fear loses its grip because it becomes impossible to fall alone. And here's a game-changing insight: patience is not the enemy of urgency. Fire is a long game. The brightest flames don't burn out quickly. They endure by feeding on purpose, persistence, and strategy. You don't rush the process, you own it. You become the master of your will, the commander of your vision. Look around, and you'll see the world is starving for this kind of leadership. Systems designed for mediocrity, compliance, and scaled noise are choking greatness. The tired old narratives that used to define success are crumbling, leaving a vacuum for real leaders to fill. Leaders who reject borrowed lives, who are ready to burn with purpose, not bend with convenience. Leaders who understand that their greatest power is in authentic individuality combined with fiercely chosen connections. This is the rebellion against the false promises of comfort and control. It's a call to rise, not quietly, but with fire roaring. The brightest leaders do not wait for signals from the center. They create their own signals on the edge. They build networks not bound by geography, titles, or politics, but by shared fire and shared mission. So, every moment you hesitate, ask yourself, what are you leading with right now? Fear or fire? Because fear will keep you trapped in a cycle of what ifs, steering you away from the giant waves waiting to be ridden. Fire will push you into the storm, where the waves get wild, but where you also find the shorelines only the brave ever reach. Fire is not about reckless risk. It's about fierce responsibility for your vision, your people, and your impact. It's about treating every setback as an important signal, every difficult conversation as a forge, every failure as fertilizer for the blaze. This is the moment to choose fire, to burn away the illusion that comfort equals freedom, to be ruthless with your boundaries, but generous with your trust, to connect deeply with the few who burn as you do, not settle for the many who dim their light for safety's sake. Because leadership born from fire is contagious. It spreads like wildfire, inspiring others to find their own flame, their own fierce why. Fire builds movements, breaks impossible barriers, and reshapes futures. Fear only builds walls, keeps you small, and leaves dreams to die in silence. No one ever changed the world by being safe. No one ever built the extraordinary by surviving comfort. The future belongs to those who dare to burn, who rather light up the night with their fire than hide in shadow with fear. So, stop apologizing for your ambition. Stop living by someone else's rulebook. Start leading with everything you've got, the fire that makes your chest burn and your mind roar. This is the real freedom, the freedom to become who you were born to be, the freedom to lead with fire even when fear screams the loudest. Because in that choice lies your power, your legacy, your revolution. Don't wait for permission. Don't seek safety. Light the match inside and carry the flame forward. The world is waiting, not for a leader who plays it safe, but for a leader who burns so bright they cannot be ignored.